Hey guys, welcome to the channel. If you're new here, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, as I'm currently at 27 subscribers, according to my phone right now. I'm not going to be posting videos every single day, but I'm only going to be posting videos that I think are good, that I'm proud of, and that I think belong on the internet. And everything I make will be heavily related to either gaming, maybe in the future anime, and also my personal animation work. So everything here is going to be very tech savvy, relatively speaking. So if you want to see more content like this, and you want to see more stuff explained, especially in a way that you can actually understand, I'd recommend you subscribe. So this is Halo 1, Halo Combat Evolved. This game is nearly 20 years old at this point. It's a very old game. So it has a low polygon count because it's old and the machines couldn't run all too many. As you can see, this entire surface here is one rectangle, one flat rectangle, perfectly flat. In the remaster, it's got some modeling to it, which you can toggle, which is really cool. So in the remaster, it still uses the hitbox from the original, but in the remaster, there's more polygons because newer consoles can handle more. But no matter how far into the future we go, we're never going to be able to make a polygon for every single little one of these crevices, you know? Our machine just can't handle that. So instead what we do is we use a technique called bump mapping. Now you can see how this looks kind of 3D. It's actually completely flat. This is one completely flat polygon. There's no depth to this whatsoever. Despite the fact that it looks like it has some depth in these lines, it really doesn't. It's all fake. It's from something called a bump map. It allows us to fake depth fairly convincingly without having to go through the trouble of running it so intensely. These lines right here and everything. But there's a problem with the original port, the PC port of Combat Evolved, which this one was built off of by Gearbox Software. Yes, the people who made Borderlands used to be a porting studio, but it still looks really flat, doesn't it? You can see it, but it looks really flat. And the reason for that is because the bump maps are only enabled when a dynamic light is shining at them. Like that. You can see, now it looks like there's some depth to it, you know? But then it goes away whenever the light does. So, bump maps are really important in making sure a game looks good. Look at this. This looks so much better than that. Even ignoring the lighting, you know? So bump maps are really, really important for helping create a believable surface without having to calculate every single one of these little angles. Alright, so right now I'm in a program called Blender, as you can see in the top left. This is a 3D modeling program, essentially. It has a lot of other capabilities, to be honest, but it can allow you to make 3D models like this. So, it's nice. This right here is a model of a crate that I made from scratch. I also even made the texture from scratch, too. It's actually my first texture I made. But look at how many polygons this has. This would work perfectly fine on most machines nowadays, though it wouldn't be ideal. But what if we had this on a much larger scale? Then we couldn't, if we had this texture spread out through a huge area, or we had tons of crates, we couldn't calculate every single one of these little faces. So we would want to try to use a bump map to simulate this depth without actually having it. So what we would want to do is we would want to render out a bump map. So this right here is just one face of the cube. The box, I meant to say here. So, let's see. Just take this and just take it off and bring it up here. And that's what that is. So I have used a material that essentially converts the Z, or the height up and down, into black and white colors. So what that does is it means that areas that are farther down are darker, but parts that are further up are lighter. This is called a height map because you just look at it, you look at the map, and you can tell how high things are. So this is decently deep, and that's not black, so it's not super low down, but this is somewhat low down. This is at the very, very top because it's white. So then once you take this height map, and let's say you were to... One second. Just want to show you it without it on. If you were to apply it to a cube, let's say, assuming you have it unwrapped properly, then you put it through a bump node into the texture. You can see it looks like it has the 3D texture on it. Now, it doesn't really. It's actually completely flat. This is very few vertices, only 8, as opposed to the, let's see, where do I find the vertex count on this? I'm not sure, but you can probably guess it's going to be a lot more than just 8. And while this definitely does look better than this faked version of it, let me put in the color real quick. To be honest, when you're looking at it like this, you really can't tell them apart all too much, because this has the simulated depth to it. Additionally, if you were going to put it into a game, you were to put a light on it, then the bump map would react realistically to the light. As you can see, look at the little shadow being cast by this height. But there actually is no height. It's all fake. So yeah, bump maps allow games to be way more efficient and create stuff that looks pretty damn good without destroying your computer. So yeah, that's bump maps explained. They're really not that complicated, but I feel like very few people actually know about them, so I wanted to share it.